Greetings. Well, we had a disastrous outing last time. We have Ren is dead. Tiny is near death, but stable. Rorik has a broken leg and is not really able to walk. Martin is the only of the heroes who can really move around. We dragged everyone into the chamber, closed the door, and Martin sort of, went to work making sure that Tiny was going to live, first thing. And then the question would be, could he get anyone up? And I think the answer is no. I don't think there's any way he gives someone 10 hit points. Because Rorik would need 10 hit points to be back, because I think that wound was 10. We do have a couple heals, so, I mean, we will pass them around for sure. So we'll ditch our heals and give everybody, a couple. And, I mean, Rorik does get to shake off. Where were we at? Oh, there's an auto-recovered one, which is annoying as heck, by the way. What's the difference? Oh, checks. Yeah, okay. Let me delete that one for the moment. Okay. Yeah, Rorik's going to take the heal he has. We should mark that he has an injury. Roll 1d4 plus 1. He gets 2 hit points back from that. So he has a disable, and that's 8 points left on that disable. And he'll get to roll, so he'll roll a d8 to shake off. And he can shake off non-wound damage, which he does have quite a bit of. So he gets 5 total hit points, so he's up to 8 hit points. But he still has 8 points in the disable, because all those have to come from everything else. And so he has 8. He has 32 minus 8. So he has just 24 minor. So he has disable 8, minor 24. But that's all he gets until they can do a little, do some work there. I don't have any injuries for Tiny. That could have missed it. But I don't have any. I mean, Tiny's in that awful space. We will give him a heal potion, but it's not going to do much. It's just going to gives him 3 back. And so he has minor damage, but it's all of his damage, effectively. And I'll give Martin a physician check to rouse Tiny. So we healed 3. So he has technically taken 43. So he has minor injury 40, effectively. So he's at -4. Or what I'll do is I'll let Martin roll a skill roll. So we'll let him roll physician check now. Yeah, so just to get him on his feet. So we will say between that and the heal, he has literally a hit point. So he has minor of 35. Now, I think he's shaken, though. I think Tiny is a little bit of a mess. Not only did he nearly die, but he saw Ren die. And so I almost picture him sort of just huddled up a little bit, not saying much. I picture Rorik sort of perched up against this one of these sarcophagi. And Tiny's just like, right, holding his cudgel and looking around. But he's barely up. And certainly in no condition to do anything or fight. I think these two are discussing it. And I think the conclusion that I would come to in that position is that they've just got to get Tiny out of there. And they're just going to have to... I'm going to inter Ren. I would take the notes, the chalice, and the rune rod from Ren. Although yeah. So we are carrying no potions, so that's a bonus because we literally tossed all of these. So that's at least a thing, that those all go away. So we're going to carry, we'll just delete those. We're going to carry the rune rod. We're going to carry the book of Hand of Lightning. And we're going to carry the chalice. And we just need to get Rorik and Tiny out of there. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make one last... So this is desperate, right? They're desperate in the dungeon, as it were. We're going to make one last roll. I'm going to say on a 1 or a 2, if you recall, they have lashed these doors together in a fairly haphazard way to try to keep the starved men in. If I roll a 1 or a 2, that has broken, and there are starved men spilling into the corridor here, trapping our heroes in the dungeon, maybe forever. Let's roll a d12. We get a 7. So I'm going to say this is held. And then one more. Oh, God, I hate to do this. But they've probably spent the better part of the hour in this dungeon, having burned out. And so we probably have to make one more encounter check. And again, if we make an encounter check, we probably just hear them outside, and then we're, screwed a little bit. But we don't have an encounter check. So I think the fates have eased up, right? The fates have eased up on our heroes here. Tiny's panicked. Rorik is really unable to get himself anywhere and will need help, probably on someone's shoulder almost, right? He'll be able to hop. I think Martin does want to at least look and see. I mean, we can't leave it. We can't just leave, because if we just leave, this is literally all for naught. Like, Ren's death means nothing, and so on. And I think Rorik's like, kid, I'm in no good position to check anything. This, by the way, has, of course, mysteriously opened when the guards are killed, leading the way to the last sarcophagus here. And I mean, I think I think Martin is very much... I tell you what, Rorik's like, just take me over there, right? And he'll at least look at it to make sure there's nothing. But he can't, like I said, he can't stand on his own. So he's got to either lean on. Rorik is like to Tiny, get a hold of yourself and watch the door. I don't know that Tiny's got a hold of himself. Let's make a willpower check for old Tiny there. Yeah, no, not great. Like he's just, I think he's reached his breaking point. He's not going nuts. He's just seen things he's never thought he would see. Like he's bashed a couple skulls maybe in town, right? Fought some other ruffians, other gangs and stuff. But that whole living dead thing, I think, shook him. Shook Rorik, too, a little bit. Rorik's going to check really quickly on the sarcophagus. He's like, I don't know. And he, like, maybe backs up. He doesn't know. He literally doesn't know. He screwed that up big time. We're going to roll real quick. No, nothing on there. So, by the way, if Martin would have opened the chest and gotten like nuked by something, I would have just said, yeah, I think it's a TPK. I think let's just go with that. Let's go with TPK. But he does indeed, toss the lid open, and he sees the body of the last king, King Angshner, who is wearing now tattered finery, but he does have, so he has an iron crown. So I'm going to put this on Martin's sheet. And what that means is he has an iron crown, iron rat crown. So instead of it's a facsimile of what the real crown would be, because they don't want to bury him with the real crown, the sign of office, as it were. So it's ornate and well made and probably worth something, but it's not like, whatever. So he has the rune rod, the book of lightning, the chalice, the iron rat crown. Excuse me. Two pieces of assorted jewelry on the king. Oops. Which he appraises, or we'll roll that for his appraise, or not, or reasonably valuable. So 2 jewelry. Of reasonable value. Oh, he's going to have used his meta kit too, so he'll have 0. He'll still have it, but he will literally have 0. Although I think what was Tiny carrying? Tiny was carrying his alchemy field kit. He also does get a rapier, a very fine rapier. Whiskerfang. Schnerblattenfang. And we will get to the stats of that at some point, but right now he doesn't know. But it is very nice. Gleaming, silvered blade, right? Does the king have anything else? Let me roll a d12 here. 7. So what I'll do is we'll give Martin a quick trade roll or a search. We'll give him a search is 10 investigate -2. I think all he can find is, in addition to what he took, is a gold tooth. So he has 1 gold tooth, which he will take. And with that, they've got to help Rorik back and keep Tiny under control. I think they're going to lay Ren out in one of the guard sarcophagi for now and leave. So the one thing that Martin will notice, well, we'll see. Again, I'll give him a couple rolls. The one thing Martin notices is that as soon as he touches Whiskerfang, it immediately almost reconfigures itself. It changes its weight and its balance in such a way that it fits well. Now, Martin can wield this, so that's fine. It's a rapier. It's not a short sword, but he can still wield it. And just like he's been wielding it for years, better than the short sword even. It feels good in his hand. You roll a d12 here. This is just sort of a luck check. We'll say 9 or above. He notices something else. No. We'll leave that be till after they get out. And so that's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to, excuse me, they're going to have to walk out the door, which they will. We're not going to give them any more hassle since they have, made survived the 2 encounter, 1 in 6 encounter checks, and they head out with a very meager sum. Probably of treasure. The crown's probably worth a little bit, and the jewelry's probably worth a little bit, and we will check that sort of back in town, or back once they get. But even getting back home is going to be clunky, so they're going to have to make. Well, they should probably think of that. So I think even here, Martin and Rorik have the idea of coming in and maybe using some of the bones out of Bone Snapper and some of the extra crap here. So I think we're going to do that, but that's going to require another roll. But let's make a survival check for Rorik as he's, and he makes it. Maybe a medical check for Martin. He doesn't make it. He hasn't made a medical check all game almost, I think. So Rorik can essentially get a few long bones out of Bone Snapper. And with his guidance, Martin can grab a couple pieces of wood, etc. And maybe either make a splint or make like a litter that they can get Rorik back home with. But that is going to require another d12 roll, and they make it. So they've got a litter, and they can make it out. So a couple rolls real quick on... For a couple rolls really quick. So we got a couple pieces of jewelry. What did I say? Two pieces of jewelry. The crown. And the gold tooth. So having gotten now, we're not going to go day by day. We're going to make the assumption that they're going to head back. Let's take a real quick look here. They're going to head back probably to, my question would be, is there a closer village than, say, Hunter's Knoll or Fowlerin Keep? It's a couple days. Is there any place between here and there that they can rest up between then? And I'm going to say there is maybe something out here, some really tiny farming village out here. And so they'll travel back to that farming village. They will rest up enough to get Martin back. So probably a week or so. Let's get our game notes. Oh, we didn't write that battle? Oh God. Well, we'll write episode 34. Bone Snapper and Disaster. But we won't write that yet. So this is episode 35, which would be Daylight, maybe. Group plays Ren in one of the Rattling done. Gets Iron Crown. Okay. And then they head back to a village or a farmstead. Excuse me. And then they're going to rest. So that's what they're going to do. And then they're going to probably try to head back to Salem to sell and all that and really rest. But I do think so I'm gonna roll. So we're gonna speed run the aftermath to bring us to sort of a point where we can stop and get to the figure out the next thing, right? So we're gonna roll for Tiny. We're gonna roll a D12, and I'm gonna say that on a 10, 11, or 12, maybe Tiny stays with us. On a 10 or 11, he sort of he's like, oh, okay, I'll stay. I'll stay. We got this. I'm good. Or on a 12, he'll stay, but he'll resent us somehow, right? Because I think he's just he's not feeling it. And so I think that from this farmstead, once Tiny heals at all, maybe the group leaves him here for a bit with a little bit of cash, because I think Rorik has a tiny bit of cash on him. Maybe leave him with like $50 for now, and he stays there, and maybe he stays and goes to Hunter's Knoll and just works. But I think I don't think he has the heart of I don't think he's gonna do the adventure thing. I think he's out. I think that capped it. I think Rorik has a small chance of just heading back to the vineyards. Not even a small chance. I'm going to say 5. I'm going to say 1 through 5. I'm going to say 1 through 5. Rorik's like, his superstitious, I think, gets the better of him. And he's like, look, kid, this is cool, but I can't, that kind of adventure is not for me. I can't go into a 2. It won a 1 to 5, and I think I think he's taken a little bit of a fancy to the vineyard life there, and he can work it, and he can, right? Lady Voigt might need someone to help manage. So maybe he may, on a 1 through 5. I think Rorik abandons the party as well. No, he's going to stick it out. I think these two have been through a couple things together. And so Rorik's just like, yeah, just get me, right? Get me healed up. Get to selling the things. I'm going to take $50 off of Rorik. because actually we'll take $59, so $60 essentially, 2 months worth, and that they'll give Tiny just enough. And they said, look, we'll come back with your share. So we have 100 gold. Let's see how valuable these things are, and let's see how our trade goes. So game notes. The 2 pieces of jewelry. We will say a ring and a necklace. Both are made of silver, and both have like some kind of jewel widget, right? Some kind of jewelry bits in there. So ring and necklace. I'm going to roll for each on just a D12. Like what's the relative value? 5 and 6. Okay, so I'm going to put that number up, 5 and 6. So nothing amazing. We're talking the hundreds-ish of... So let's say 200 base for the ring, and let's say 400 base, so silver, right? So 200 and 400 pennies. Let's roll trades. Martin will go to a jeweler, and he will roll trades. And he does have an 11, so he's pretty good at it. He scores pretty well. He does actually pretty well on both of them. So he's like a plus. So he'll get, let's just say, a 10 or 15% boost on those. So he gets to 20, and we'll give him a 15% boost here. So 40, 60. So he gets 220 and 460. The gold tooth, it's, probably not worth as much as either of those, but it is a fine gold tooth. And let's say that he can get $60 for the gold tooth. The iron crown is probably the most valuable overall. And it is indeed, it's even valuable from the, so it's a 10 roll. I was thinking that puts it somewhere in the 1,000 plus. Let's say that is 1,500 base. And Martin's skill roll was not that good. Not a lot of merchants still are carrying that kind of gold, so he can get at best 1,200 for that. So all told, that is 680, 1880, 1940. So 1940, if we divide that by 3, it's going to be it's still an absolute it's still quite the money there. 646. So we'll say they'll give Tiny the extra piece there. 646. So 646 plus what he's carrying, which is 43, is he has 689 now at the end of this. Oh, he only has 20. Okay. Nope, he only has 28. So 646 plus 28. We spent some plus 20. 674. So they did make good money. And Rorik got is at 746. Just take the expenses they're going to need, let's say, just to heal and so on. I'm going to put Rorik down to 700. Martin needs a little less. We're going to put Martin down to 650. Even numbers, and we'll get rid of his bits. Haha, even numbers, and just because they're going to sit around town for a little bit also, right? And so on. So the problem is Martin is going to need to get this thing identified, this weapon. And that's a great question. Is there an opportunity for him to get this thing identified that's not going to include... I mean, he could pay. It's probably... that's probably easily a couple $100 plus to get this thing identified. So we should keep that in mind. It is possible, though I don't know that he would... I'm not sure how this would come about, or if it would be clear enough to him of how to go about this. But in theory, he has very valuable... Those rune rods are amazingly valuable, right? To any mage who ever was interested in Hand of Lightning, they have the ability to get it now. And Martin now has that ability. He literally holds the power of giving a mage that rune. So that's sort of interesting. I don't know what to make of that, by the way. And I don't know that Martin knows what to make of it either. So I think he just has to ask around. And again, we'll use trade with this because, you know, and he does know the alchemists here and so on. And so he might have, if anyone could do that for him. And I'm going to say the answer is yes, but he's just going to have to pay. Like, there's no trade opportunities. He rolled a -5, so he did not succeed on a trade roll. So he's going to have to pay $250, let's say, to get this thing identified. And he will. I mean, that's not an issue at all. And Rorik might even give him a little bit too, but we'll just say this comes off because he's going to have to... So because he's going to have to do alchemy and all that. I'll do that offline, but... So we end up with $400. And so here's what Whisker Fang is. And so this is why I wanted to get this done. So I wanted to, because this is what this was all about, right? So it is a rapier. So its base weapon is rapier. Weapons. So it's +1/+1. So it is +1 accuracy, +2 parry. Length is medium, of course. Durability is like 8, like it's a magic item, so it's not going to break. Its weight is 1 kilogram. Its damage, so he does what, a D6, because he just has, so D6. Plus a D8, so it's a D8 damage. So there's not even like he doesn't even take the -1 now. So he actually gets a tiny upgrade in damage. It is fast 1. It is skill 12. Like it has all the it has pummel. It does have thrust, so nothing super special there. But it also has, so I'm going to merge these, which sort of sucks because I'm going to want to, if I ever do another weapon, it's going to suck, but that's fine. So powers, what does Whisker Fang do? Oh, you know what we can do? We just put this, can we just put it in traits maybe? Probably, right? Also, Yeah, we'll do this. We'll do this. We'll do it like that. Ugh, I don't like that. Boy, I hate that. I'll fix how it looks. And I'll fix how it looks in a bit. So the first thing is, obviously, it is, what do you want to say? Versatile, we'll call it. In that can be wielded. This doesn't matter to our guy. By anyone with swords, knives, or dueling, right? Any or dirty fighting. Okay, that doesn't matter to Martin since he does have the ability to go swords, but it has find familiar. You can you get a rat familiar. So it has the equivalent of find familiar as the spell. So he gets find familiar. The rat's going to give him a +1 skill. So he has a 14 skill. I don't know if that even matters to him, but he does have a 14 skill now. And he gets an ability, a minor ability. And what I'll do is I'm going to give him... So I'm going to say his minor ability is amazing sense of smell. I'm going to give him +1, and I'm going to make that give him +1 alchemy. So he has an amazing sense of smell. He can't track with it. It's not like he's not like a dog or whatever, but he can tell when a potion's about to go bad or that this mixture is not doing something, or maybe even pick out ingredients just by the smell of them. So that's the familiar. So the familiar gives him, the familiar gives him +1 skill and amazing smell. He can also telepathically communicate with it in sight. So he can, he can chat with the rat can scout for him, and so on and so forth. He can speak with rats. And small rats consider him their master, and large and giant and monstrous consider him their kin, right? So he can speak to rats. The last power that it has is it holds, so it's handle, it's pommel. I should say, and it is sticky 4. Which means that if there's a poison on the blade or some kind of oil on the blade, even when that oil hits and would otherwise be used, it has a 4 in 12 chance of remaining on the blade for another attack. And if the potion is sticky, which some of them are, those add. So if he gets like an oil which is sticky 4 and he has sticky 4 on this, it becomes sticky 8. And so that thing has a lot better chance of remaining. And finally, it has poisoner. The handle holds 1 dose of a potion or poison. The wielder can apply that to himself as a free action at any time as a free action. But of course, the dose is gone after that. Or on a successful defense, he can apply it to the attacker as a free action. So if you got poison and put it in the handle, on a successful parry or a successful dodge, you hit them with the pommel and it spikes them and gets the poison, the potion. So it's not even a poison necessarily. He could do acid. He could do the acid vial, for instance, and put that in there. And then upon a successful defense, he then hits the guy with the acid vial as a free action. So that's its, and weirdly, I think that's its big power. For Martin, especially, that would allow him to have one potion always ready, and that takes 0 time to get applied. And so that is Whisker Fang. And in addition, it's fast 1. So on a 1 in 12, he gets to go twice, like that kind of thing. Like it's not amazing, it's good. But it did, like I said, it upped his, at the very least, upped his, I mean, the problem is it takes a 16 to actually raise to a +2, so that sort of sucks. But his skill is a 14 now. It ups his saves, pretty much. And he gets a little bit better alchemy, so that's nice. I'm going to put those in like that. No, that didn't work. Whatever I just did. Okay. And that's it. And the value of it is immeasurable, right? It could be, it's whatever anyone will pay for it. So I think that's a nice magic item. I think that could be really useful if tactically used by our guy here. Was it designed with him in mind? Maybe a little bit, right? Like if that's what he was going for. Once it was established that this was happening and there was a weapon in the tomb, I made that up. And so he will definitely use that instead of the short sword for sure, and probably get rid of the short sword. It does more damage, it's longer, it's +2 parry, so his defense really becomes, so his swords are 10. His defense now becomes 12. That's his first parry. And his second parry is 9. His dodge is 9. His third parry would be 6. So at that point, he's at a 7. So still not great. He's still not like burning up the charts in his offense or defense. But with a 10 and +2, I will also give Martin and Tiny 2 free, Martin and Tiny, Martin and Rorik 2 free checks, since they survived the dungeon. And I don't know if you can read that or not, but yeah, that is the weapon that they fought and died for. I think Martin feels a little guilty. I think Rorik thinks about, trying to make this a teaching moment in some way, sort of giving him the "I told you so" a little bit, but decides against it. And I do think, frankly, I think we are going to end up stopping there for a tiny bit. So I think Tiny's out. I think I think so. Unfortunately, we do need to get back our alchemy field kit, which sort of sucks. I think Tiny's out. I think Tiny, when they go back to give him his cash, Tiny's like, thank you. I mean, he's a rich man now in town. He can buy, he's like, I can buy my own little farm now. Right? So, you know, right? So I have to go remake these character sheets and redo all this. And we certainly need, you know, we will get a third at some point again, but we do have to figure out where our guys are going to go and what they're going to do. I mean, I'm really sad because I wanted Ren to work, and I thought that was sort of fun to have a mage with indeed 2 runes going at it, and I thought the Blizzard was sort of interesting as sort of a semi-melee rune, and the lightning would come of its own here at some point as her ranged you know, option. But it wasn't meant to be. The group took some wounds, and my buddy Scott was like, yeah, Runebearer is tough on dungeons. I'm like, it is. I agree with him. I absolutely do not. There's no denying that. It's not really a dungeon delve game in a lot of ways. It's, you know, but having said that, that was not this. These guys did not get attritioned to death. The nature of the combat is such that it can go wrong and it can pivot in a heartbeat. And a couple of those hits from those guys, and you're fighting undead with armor. I mean, very dangerous. They can do really good damage. They can wound anyone at any time. And that is always a rough haul there. And very, very dangerous. And that's what happened. So I thought they handled the dungeon actually amazingly well. Really through the Bone Snapper all the way up. I mean, all the fights had gone their way for the most part. And they took a little bit of damage from the Bone Snapper, but not an unreasonable amount. And they head into that last room and just everything went to hell. They might go back and get her body. I don't know how eventful that will. We'll have to figure that out. So they might go back and get her body. They're going to stay in Salem for probably like a good month or so to try to just get everything settled and get themselves back. We'll see. I will make some rolls. So I'm going to remake the character sheets. I'm going to roll experience. I'm going to roll a couple dice with Lady Laurel and just see if that has changed or anything. If her situation with Thorn or Lady Voight's situation with Thorn have changed, and if there's an adventure there to be had. I do think we're going to take a couple weeks off of this game, though, to sort of reset everything and get ourselves back to the next chapter, right? That's sort of where we're at. And that'll give us some time to work on the Traveler, which we will do. Also, I do want to go run through a super quick online. Hey, what's the new what's the new campaign that my tabletop group is doing? And just, you know, show that off a little bit. So that's it. Thank you very much. I do know, you know, yeah, it was good. It was rough. That was a rough fight. That was ugly. But they did live, 3 of them at least. Even if one decided to retire, and Ren is back here in the burial chamber of the king for all of eternity, unless they go get her. And of course, we'll roll a 1 in 12. Something bad has happened. Of course. But that's it. Thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. And I hope you'll tune into the rest of the stuff on the channel. I hope you'll tune into the Traveler. And we're still doing Skyrim, Lore Rim. So I hope you tune into that as well. Thanks a lot, guys. Good night.